our next topic, which is Invincible. And my coworker was telling me about it, and then Kev, once you said you started watching the first episode, I'm like, let me dive into this, because I don't know much about the comic series. Robert Kirkman is behind it, and I know they didn't see much success behind their comic series when he did. I think it was 2003, and boy, do they have a great concept for a new style like superhero series, man. And if you haven't seen it and you want to watch it, we're gonna talk spoilers, so this might be your exit right here. Because
then come back to it.
Yeah,
and come back and watch again, and then tell your friends to watch again,
and keep listening and subscribing. And
stuff over and over again.
And like so many times, like on different accounts.
So many times.
But to start off this film, right? To start off this TV series, we get this parody, Justice League, Red Rush, War Woman. We get this, I don't know the fish's name, but this fish who's supposed to be Aquaman. We got,
he's great.
The whole,
Dude, I loved it.
Yeah, right? We got the whole kit and caboodle. And the funny thing is, we feel for these characters. We see them kick ass. And we get a little bit of their backstories in that first episode, because we see where they came from and them getting called to action, with Darkwing, who, Batman might need to learn a thing or two with those magnetic handcuffs, because those were pretty badass, not gonna lie.
They were pretty sick, yeah.
Sick.
We get it acclimated to this, the Guardians of the Globe. And I won't segue right into it because it gets pretty epic. But I want your guys' first takes. You start up Amazon Prime, you press play, you see this action sequence with the Guardians of the Globe. What are your guys' thoughts going right into this TV series?
It's between me and you. Do you want to take it? Yeah, you started talking first. I'll give it to you.
Sure.
I'll let you have the floor.
Man. Thank you, my friend. I was really pumped for the show based off the trailer. I think I stumbled on the trailer on Instagram, and I may have tagged both of you in it if I'm not mistaken. And I was like, "What the hell is this thing?" But I sort of recognized it, and I couldn't understand why I recognized it. And then when I looked into it more, and I noticed it was a Robert Kirkman comic book, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize he had like a superhero, line." Like, because I think majority of people nowadays who aren't even comic book fans probably know Robert Kirkman from The Walking Dead. So the minute I heard that he had a whole superhero story, I was like, oh, absolutely. So anyways, I was super excited for this to come out. The trailer sold me. And I started watching it, and I'll tell you what, I just finished episode 4 today. I absolutely love this show. And I've heard that they're apparently Seth Rogen's going to be doing a live action version for. Yeah.
Funny enough, the live action was announced before the show. The animated series was announced.
Oh, was it really?
The animated series just beat them to the punch.
Oh, that's crazy. Well, I did hear. I listened to an interview with Robert Kirkman. It was on Kevin Smith's podcast, Fat Man Beyond. If you aren't subscribed to that, everybody should totally be subscribed to that.
Podcast.
But it's incredible. Robert Kirkman was on, and Robert Kirkman had said, Seth Rogen was in this live action Invincible movie, and they have Seth Rogen in the show. I think he played Alan the alien.
He did,
which was a great scene between him and Invincible. It was like Seth Rogen, man. I don't think he could do any other kind of voice. It's just Seth Rogen's voice.
It's literally just Seth Rogen,
and it just works. But I'll tell you what, guys. Overall, I'm loving this show. It is a really great story. The animation's incredible, and Robert Kirkman had said the animation is very. It's the same studio that does the DC animated films,
and you can tell, man. It's totally. Straight out of like the Young Justice, all the DC animated movies. Like, it's the same style.
Yes, it's awesome. I think they're called Maven. They're I forget. I don't know if it's in Japan. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. But I love the animation style. The story's just interesting. The characters are interesting. And one thing that really stood out to me is the comedy works in the show.
Yeah.
I found myself laughing out loud to some of these scenes. It didn't feel out of place. It felt very appropriate. It grabbed me. I'm intrigued. I can't wait to finish the series. I hope there's more seasons. I don't know. I love this show. I really, really do. I think it's a really great show. And I think for fans of The Boys that I mentioned earlier, for the
Yes.
fans of The Boys and things like Umbrella Academy and maybe even Doom Patrol, like these really weird out of the box kind of things, I think they would be fans of Invincible. So if you haven't watched it yet, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, those are all great points, man. I'm gonna go completely opposite of you. So I didn't know shit about this show. I didn't know a damn thing. You tagged me in the trailer, and I want to say I started watching it, and then
You just threw your phone.
well, I think I got a phone call. Funny enough, I think I got a phone call like 5 seconds in, and I took the phone call, and I kind of got on a work tangent after that, and I stopped watching it, and I forgot about it. So you guys are telling me like, hey, have you watched Invincible? And I was like, oh shit, I remember that. Kev tagged me in that. I should check it out. And Ty, you too. You were like pounding the table for it. So I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm gonna watch this then. And I liked that I didn't know anything about it. I started watching it, and immediately I was like, dude, this animation style reminds me of like old school Saturday morning cartoons when I was growing up. The old X-Men animated series, the old Spider-Man animated series. It felt like an old school kind of like comic booky animation series, and I loved it. I digged it because it felt like I was just eating cereal again, like waking up on Saturday and watching cartoons again. So, well, another thing that popped out initially was just because I didn't know anything about the show, I didn't know who was voicing all these characters. And the huge thing that popped out immediately was like, holy shit, this is like an all-star A-list cast. I couldn't believe how many big people are in this show. And, J.K. Simmons initially, I was like, holy, okay, that's J.K. Simmons, obviously, right? Stephen Young, Mark Hamill was in it.
That mustache, man, that just gives it away. It's that
it's
that J.K. Simmons mustache going on.
Dude, it is.
I was gonna bring it to you guys later. I was like, I couldn't believe.
Oh my God.
I mean, because in the comics he has the mustache, but they casted him perfectly because that's the J.K. Simmons mustache.
Yeah.
So it fit, right? Mark Hamill when he made an appearance, Jason Mantzoukas, Seth Rogen, Ezra Miller, Ross Marquand, Zachary Quinto. I was like, dude, how did I not know about this? And Kev, you tried to tell me about it. I don't even know if you realized how many people were going to be in that show until you start hearing these voices come out. And you're like, wait a minute, like I know them. And I looked at the cast and I was blown away. And then, at that point, it was just figuring it out and following the storyline. And we'll segue into the next topic.
Yes.
Because I feel like there's stuff I want to go into.
I do have
I'll let you take the next point on the next thing.
I have a big question for you guys. So we're gonna spoil the shit out of episode 1 right now.
Oh, we're gonna go right into it. We're gonna do it now.
We're gonna go right into it because I want your guys' opinions on this.
Okay.
So we get a feel for the Guardians, of the globe, right? We get their backstories. We see their lives pre superhero whatnot. We see how they interact with each other, right? And then J.K. Simmons' character Omni-Man just rips them apart to death, right? So with that being said, the direction of this series, of this TV series right now, I have no clue where it's going, because you have Omni-Man, who seems so self-righteous and wants to help the world, but then he murders the world's best superheroes, but at the same time is training his son to be a top-notch superhero, right? So every time I watch Omni-Man on screen, I'm like, what is his motives? I'm confused to why he just murdered the world's greatest. But at the same time, his son believes he's a self-righteous, I'm here to do good, I want to save the earth kind of guy, because that's what he wants to do. But he doesn't. And I'm just like, you're training your son who wants to do good, but you just murdered the world's favorite superheroes. Where do you guys think this is going? Like, cause I'm lost, but in a great way.
Yeah. I'm gonna steal this from you, Kev. I'm gonna take the reins on this.
Take it away.
So, when you start watching from the first episode, right? You start watching and you're like, okay, like we see this sea level Justice League. It's like almost feels like a Justice League from an alternative universe. And by the way, I love the Aquaman they portrayed. He's just a huge fish. I thought that was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Dude, I was dying. It looks like the fish from Fortnite that you can buy as fucking DLC.
Or like anything from SpongeBob or something. It looks like that. So you start seeing that, right? And you're like, okay, like I know the show is about this kid who's supposed to get powers, and then his dad's going to trade him. So I saw this sea level Justice League, and I was like, okay, this kid is going to be probably training to get inside the league, right? And to help be part of the Guardians of the Earth. And then it's kind of a slow build. It's a slow build. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I want to say not one curse word was said that entire episode, up until the end, or anything like that. Yes. No blood was shed up until then. There was no violence in any way.
No, there was. There was.
Was there? Was there before the last scene?
So remember the security guard shot the clone in the eye?
Oh, that's right.
Eye exploded.
That's right. Okay. So there was a little bit. Then we get to the end, right, and everybody gets murdered. Basically, the entire premise that I thought it was going to be would totally change at that point.
Yes.
Everybody gets murdered, and it's his dad that's doing it, and you're like, okay, well, I don't. What the fuck? Like what now? Like, what do I even think? And 4 episodes in, I still feel that way. Like, you still don't even understand the motive or what's going on. Like, I think they're portraying him to be a villain, but you're not really sure. He seems kind of good. But I do like that they kind of like held back a little bit until like, the very end of the episode, then it just explodes. And then that explosion just propels the rest of the season. Like, you just want to keep going and see where it ends up. Which I thought was brilliant, and I thought that was like really good storytelling.
Dude, it was the best way to end that first episode, because you did not see it coming. They all get called together, and they go, Darkwing, why'd you call us? He's like, I didn't call you guys. And you just see Omni-Man pop up and just lay the smack down on every single person and laid waste. And, it was interesting because, we have, the Flash character, Red Rush, who, comically enough, in the beginning is trying to save people, and they're all throwing up from his speed, and he, is about to throw up as well, which I thought was brilliant. It brought some, like, humanity to it. Yeah. This superhero who's used to speed is throwing up because of other people throwing up. Yeah. But he was obviously, the rescuer of these, heroes when they needed to be. So Omni-Man, of course, the first one he killed was Red Rush, who was saving the characters when he could. And the way that he got dismantled by just crushing, you got the eye popping out and the second eye going, dude, like, Robert
Kirkman is sick, like, and I mean that in like
the greatest way.
Well, I know also in like the most disturbing way possible, because he writes these death scenes that are just insane, like the way that he killed Glenn in the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
He's got this like dark, sadistic like mind that just knows how to get to you, and he definitely did that with all that. I mean, Jesus, right? Like, it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah. So when I heard the premise of the show, that's what got me hooked. Was this father-son relationship. The father is the all-powerful, Superman-esque, hero, right? Indestructible. And his son looks up to him, and eventually his son will develop powers, blah, blah, blah. But his father is not what he thought his father was this whole time as his son. So that alone, like that storyline, I'm like, you already have me.
Yes.
You already have me. Like, father and son, father's training son had to be the superhero. The father's looked up to, like, he's this messiah figure. And then it just turns out that his daddy's got a dark side. And so when episode 1, when that scene was happening where the Guardians of the Globe are all gathering, I was like, he's gonna freaking murder every single one of them. Which that scene that scene was so
Nuts.
brutal. Like, I caught myself as I was watching it, just like, Jesus Christ!
Poor
oh
Darkwing's head just exploded on impact, man.
Oh
like,
my God!
He probably fought some badass villains before, but you never seen someone's head explode like that on a freaking concrete floor ever.
He went full on Zack Snyder Justice League Superman on him and just whooped his ass.
It was crazy. And, like, is it Warrior Woman? Was that her name?
War Woman. War Woman.
He cracks her neck, and so her head's like rotated like Exorcist style. And our fish man, he's like, his freaking gills are all over the place.
That was sad.
It was brutal.
It was brutal.
But Robert Kirkman in that interview, said to Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin, this is a violent show. And it sure as hell is.
Yeah.
But I don't. Back to Omni-Man's motive. That I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's literally the question I keep asking myself. And I'll be honest with you, I'm super happy I never read this comic.
Same.
Because I love not knowing anything. Like, I still can't for the life of me. I keep trying to guess. I keep trying to think, like, at first I'm thinking, okay, well, Omni-Man just wants to be the all-powerful being. He doesn't want anybody to kind of, coexist or threaten him in any way. And then I'm thinking, okay, so he's training Mark and his son. And, he wants Mark to shine in the spotlight at some point. So I keep going back and forth, and I'll tell you what, I love that. And that's why I love this show so much.
Yes.
It's just the fact that I keep guessing. And when I end the show, I'm constantly asking myself, like you said, Ty, I don't know where this is going to go. And I love that I don't know where it's going to go. And I just hope it keeps surprising me.
And the thing is, for the surprise part, right? Sorry, Marcus, do you want to...
All good. You keep going.
So, for me, right, we have Omni-Man, who did the dastardly deed of murdering the Guardians of the Globe. So then we have... Kevin, you watched episode 4, right? I know Marcus did. Did you watch the recent episode?
Oh, yes, I did. Did you?
Yes.
Did you?
Yeah,
we
did.
So then we have Robot, who is doing some sketchy ass shit by releasing the Clone Man. But then we have, the trek with Invincible to Mars, and we have the Starro type villain.
Dude, they ripped that off, man. They had to rip that off.
Oh, they did, 100%. Making its way to Earth. So, like, I don't know, like, is Omni-Man and Robot working together? Are they not? Is there going to be, like, this huge clash of villains at the end because one of them wants to, like, rule the Earth? Like, it's thrilling, it's exciting, and they keep throwing in these elements that make you guessing even more. Especially with, with Dark Blood, right? The Constantine style detective who's also a demon. So it's like Etrigan combined with Constantine, and he's trying to find out.
Almost Hellboy a little bit.
Exactly, yeah. Trying to find out what's going on with Omni-Man, and he already knows what's going on. But gets sent back to hell, but is apparently not sent back to hell. Like, there's so many elements in this series, and it's only 4 episodes in, that just keep you attracted. The way the story is, like, developing is in a brilliant way, and just wants you to stay there and be like, listen, you're going to want to stick on this ride because it's going to pay off extremely well, and I know it's going to pay off extremely well.
You can't trust anybody with what's going on right now.
Except Stephen Yeun's character, Invincible.
He's the only one.
He's so innocent.
I don't even trust his girlfriend. I think she's up to something. Like, I don't trust anyone. I got trust issues going on in this TV series.
So, you guys, this is going to be my question to you ultimately, right? Is what do you think Omni-Man's? Do you think he's guilty or innocent?
I think he's guilty.
You think he knew? So you think he knowingly murdered everybody from the team?
Yes.
To have ulterior motives, and he wasn't being controlled by possibly those aliens from Mars that could have controlled him.
No,
based off of what we've seen.
because
So I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Whoa,
hold on, I'm gonna take this,
dude! Now
because,
my mind's blowing
because
up.
the aliens from Mars would have taken over Earth on a faster and global level. They wouldn't have given a shit about waiting for a moment. They would have just done it. For me, how I think Omni-Man did what he did, I think he wants to be the sole protector of Earth. That was his job. That's what he was sent to Earth to do, and he doesn't want help because he knows he can do it by himself.
Right.
And, to have these, Guardians of the Globe around with him, he didn't want that because he wanted to be the one person that the world looked up to, and that's why he took them out.
Alternatively, was he being mind controlled by the government?
No.
To do what they want him to do to satisfy whatever plans that they have going forward, which I think that's the route I'm taking. I don't know, because very clearly he murdered these people, right? Like, he did it. There is no question about that. It is him performing the act. He's done it. He's guilty already. But was it his own doing, or was it somebody else kind of just making, like, pulling the strings and having him do it? And he doesn't remember because he got fucked up too, right? So he doesn't even remember what, I mean, I think he knows he did it, but I don't. It's hard. So what do you guys think? Ty, I don't know if that changes your opinion or if you still feel the same way.
No, I still feel the same way. Kev, you can take it, and then I'll take it after you if you want to talk.
All right, yeah. So, actually, you asking that question kind of makes me think about the whole show. Like, I feel like I got to watch it from episode 1 again and just, like, take it all in and figure the shit out. And that's why I love the show so much. Any show that makes me think, I'm in. So it's funny you say that, Marcus, because I was just going to bring up, before you brought up this whole topic, was the character of Cecil. And I don't know where I stand. Like, I don't know how I feel about him, especially with, that's right, we announced spoilers, right? So I can just say whatever.
You just talk.
I think it would be too late at this point anyway.
yeah, right. You guys are already screwed. I mean,
the last 15, 20 minutes have been all spoilers.
If you stuck along and you didn't watch it, you punish yourselves. But what he did with Darkblood, sending him back to hell. And, obviously Darkblood knows Omni-Man did it. But there's a part of me that, or actually, I think Cecil might know that Omni-Man did it too. He's convinced that he did.
No,
but I don't know where Cecil stands. I don't know if you can trust Cecil 100%. I'm still not convinced of that. So I don't know if I'm on the end of Omni-Man is brainwashed and someone's controlling him and he's doing what he's doing. I don't know if I'm all the way on that side. I was, for a while on the side of he wants to wipe out these Guardians to kind of like stand on his own. And then I started to think he wants to eventually have Mark, shine and him be, like take over for Omni-Man at some point. But Marcus, I'll tell you what, man, presenting that question, I'm in the middle. Now. I don't know.
So, anyway, time out.
I don't know.
I gotta go all in. Listen to this.
Hey, Ty, put all your chips on the table.
It's all in right now. If I lose, whatever. I lose.
Here we go.
Everything.
We're calling it right now.
Gone.
Whatever episode this is Ty putting his chips on the table.
Chips are on the table. we're gonna take flashes of Civil War from Marvel, right? So with the whole joining with the government, not joining with the government, whatnot. So Cecil, who works for the government, right? I think he wants control of the superheroes, right? And his way of doing that was through the Guardians of the Globe. But Omni-Man always wanted to be by himself, so there is no control over that man, and he does not give consent for control over his powers and himself. So with Omni-Man taking out the Guardians of the Globe, he has nothing to control, right? So they have to create this new Guardians. But they're not as powerful. They're not a unit. They're not. They're not as formidable as the old one, the one that Omni-Man killed. So I think he's, backtracking and trying to find a way to, convict Omni-Man and sentence him so that he can't be a hero anymore, or a way to put him away. But, he can't do that quickly. So that's why I think he put in Darkblood away, because he still needs time to figure out what his plan is. Because, they can convict him, but who's going to stop him? The Guardians of the Globe are dead. Who's going to stop the all-powerful Omni-Man from just reigning supreme, just like the Injustice Superman, you know? So...
I'll tell you who.
Who?
Mark.
Well, yes. But then you have, at the same time, it's the father-son battle that does it happen or does it not? Because at the end of the day, Mark looks up to his dad. 100%.
Which ultimately, in life, you are trying to supplant your father. Your father is supposed to teach you how to take him over one day.
Yes.
Because he wants you to be better than him. And this might be a classic story of that. And, not that his dad wants him to take him over, but I think that his dad is because he's expecting he's going to follow whatever route that he's going. And
yes.
Mark should know by then it's going to be, no, this isn't right. And I have to stand up to you. And he's going to stand up to him at the end, ultimately, I think. And this is just opinion now. We're starting to get into what do we think is going to happen? And I do think that's what's going to happen. I think you hit it right on the head.
But I think that's why I think that's why Omni-Man was upset that Mark, got his power so late in life. He couldn't, he was past the point of actually molding him to his will, because Mark has seen things in his life that makes him want to do good as a hero. You know?
Absolutely.
And, that's why also at the same time, for Cecil, for his sake, I think he's doing this for the government side. I think he wants to, build superheroes to work for Earth and not have their own, idea of being a hero. And I think that's what scares him about Omni-Man. And that's why I think that, Cecil can be trusted, not fully. I think he's on the, Team Earth. I think he's Team Earth. But at the same time, I think he's willing to go through boundaries to stop certain heroes if they don't, go with his ideology or with his side of things.
Yes, I agree with you. The whole thing with Dark, I don't know, that whole thing is the only thing that kind of has me in question. Why he ended up doing that. And I kind of see what you're saying. It's just how do we handle Omni-Man if we gather all the information we have and we convict him of this crime? How are we going to do this? You know? And I think it'll, of course, speculation's fun, right? We love doing this kind of stuff. I mean, I speculated at some point, especially all these different tasks, like when, Mark was volunteered to, follow the astronauts to Mars and all that kind of stuff. I feel like at some point it's all going to come crashing down. The mother, which I can't remember her name. I think she's convinced that something's up with her husband.
Yeah.
Oh, she absolutely knows.
Yeah. So everything's going to come crashing down at one point, and Omni-Man they're going to find out that he did it, and it's going to come down to maybe Cecil telling Mark, "You're the only one that can stop your father," which is going to be so emotional and epic, and I can't wait for that.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think is on that tape inside of the closet that they showed at the end of episode 4?
Oh yeah. So that shit.
Proof, video evidence of him doing it.
Well, that's what I
think it's gonna be a sex tape with Omni-Man and his wife.
Yeah.
With who?
He's banging Mark's girlfriend.
No, Omni-Man and his wife. They just,
I was just gonna say. I was gonna tell you guys. Like one of my favorite characters right now is Amber, just because I'm a huge Zazie Beetz fan, and
she plays
from
herself.
Her role. Oh,
what about Duplicate? Totally. She was getting all angles in the shower for the one scene.
Oh well, first off, what's his name? Rexplode.
Yeah, Rexplode. Yeah.
That dude is incredible. That character is incredible.
Dude, it's Jason Mantzoukas.
Yes, it's Jason Mantzoukas.
Playing himself.
Basically playing himself. Yeah.
Which he always does.
And if nobody has seen The League, please watch The League, because he is absolutely hilarious in that show.
Yes. I remember that show. But sorry, I forget where I was going with this. I said Amber. I love the character of Amber, Zazie Beetz. What else was I thinking? Shit, the mud hens are kicking in, gentlemen.
This is a good check-in point with everybody on the show. This Simtra really kicked my ass so far. So,
I need wait, time out. because we're getting close to the wrap up point, but I'm gonna fly back a little bit, and it's to a comment I saw on YouTube that I thought was hysterical to the Suicide Squad trailer. I got this guy saying, ready for this? They said most of the film's CGI budget went to being able to see John Cena's character as the Peacemaker. That was fantastic. If you guys know John Cena, You Can't See Me. And they're like, yeah, they use the CGI for you to be able to see John Cena. I'm like, that's perfect. I love that comment.
That's hilarious, man. And you know what? John Cena is going to, I think he's going to do, basically, look at it. So we have a very small pool of wrestlers that went on to be successful in the WWE.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
In movies, right? So The Rock is number one.
Yeah.
Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Dave Batista, who's obviously is Drax and everything.
Yeah.
And John Cena. Now, hopefully, this is his in. I know he's done a lot of movies in Hollywood, and he's actually been pretty popular. He pretty much just plays himself the whole time. But in this role, I think that it might work out to his benefit. I think he's going to be great in it. But yeah, dude, that is hilarious. There's a lot of "you can't see me" jokes out there, and that fit perfectly for this one.
My thing with John Cena though is, you said it perfectly. He does play himself, and I was a wrestling fan all my life. I still am, and I was very, I didn't like his character after he won the championship for people. If you don't know wrestling, you might not understand, but he plays himself, but his character isn't as exciting for me. At the same time, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he plays himself every role too, but I love Dwayne. I love The Rock. I've been watching him since 1996, so like.
Me too, brother. Me
right?
too, man.
Yeah. So like, John Cena, I hope he does well. They have a solo series for him for HBO Max, so obviously people love his character. The line that he said that he would eat a beach of dicks for justice, was hysterical.
That's pretty good. I love that line.
So, like, I am excited. He obviously lives in Suicide Squad, and I can't wait to see more from him. But I hope this is breakout, because I've seen him in a lot of commercials, and they weren't very good commercials. But hopefully, this is his segue into stardom.
I have kind of a hot take real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Which I'm kind of curious your guys' opinion. I know we're trying to wrap up, and I don't want to keep this
go for
going.
It, dude.
But I kind of want to get your guys' opinion on this, because I presented it to Laura the other day, and she was kind of like, I don't know. I get where she's coming from. But honestly, like, I get, John Cena, I think, is like kind of making his way into, Hollywood. Yeah, trying to. And he has a lot to catch up, so to speak. But I think, and maybe with this role of Peacemaker, that might take him there. Who knows? I think John Cena would have been a really good Shazam. I love Zachary Levi, don't get me wrong. But I think with John Cena has this quirkiness that I think would have been a really good Shazam, as like grown up Billy Batson. I don't know. I'm not, like, when I watch him, I'm like, I could have seen him as Shazam. I don't know. Obviously, by your guys' reaction, I completely you disagree, and that's totally
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you.
Because I disagree. I just flat out disagree. But Marcus, you can go.
Well, I did. So, John Cena, I think, has the charisma to pull it off.
Yes.
He's got he's got the kind of the balls and the confidence to do whatever I don't think he's, to be honest, man. Because all we want to see is comic book movies, like heroes, like guys like with brute strength. As long as they have like an emotional depth to them, and as long as they're able to make us laugh in like lighthearted moments, and then kick ass, right? That's the third thing. They have to kick ass, and they have to look good in the suit. I think he could do all three of those things. He's been in romantic comedies before. I think that Hollywood is putting him in the wrong roles, and I do think that you are onto something, Kev. Like, if he were to be cast there, I don't think that it's unheard of that he would have, been successful in the role. But that being said, having seen Zachary Levi in Shazam, it's hard to replace him now.
I agree. Zachary Levi killed it. Shazam is actually one of my top DC films, and I have a love for Zachary Levi. I mean, I have like a bromance. He doesn't even know who I am, but I think Zachary Levi is phenomenal. How it was just kind of like a fun speculation thing. Like I thought, like John Cena could kind of take on that, child turned into superhero. I feel like he could play a really good big kid, so to speak. I don't know. It was just kind of a thing I noticed, and I was like, after Laura and I watched the Suicide Squad trailer, I was like, I wonder if he could have been Shazam. But Ty, you're like, fuck that. There's no way. And I want to hear your take on it.
From watching John Cena for many years, decades per se, he does have the balls, he does have the comedy, I'll give him that. But to lead, a movie, especially as a superhero, I do not see that in the slightest bit.
Even as Shazam,
no,
who not a lot of people knew who he was.
I think Zachary Levi would run circles on John Cena as Shazam.
Acting wise. Yeah, you're probably
because
right.
The thing is, for John Cena, he does play himself, and Dwayne plays himself, but he's casted well. John Cena hasn't been casted well yet to play himself. And I think Peacemaker is that role. I think casting him as Peacemaker, is a good cast for John Cena to play John Cena. But other than that, he's got this bland comedy to him, which, I'll throw some wrestling facts at you. Pre-W champion John Cena, Word Life Thugonomics rapper, was fantastic. And he was good at, making, comedic raps about his opponents. And that was his claim to fame. But once he became the face of the wrestling corporation, WWE, which is the biggest wrestling company in the world, he was just the guy who won all the matches, who lost his charisma and lost his talking points. He just said, never give up, let's do this. And that's all I see from this man. And maybe I'm tainted from watching, his wrestling. Sure. I know I could be. 100% I could be tainted from that. But when I see John Cena, it's this guy with this, this monotone voice that plays the same role. And the only time that I seen him not play John Cena was in that role when he was the drug dealer for, I forget what the two actors were, but he was a drug dealer and said, this will get your dick hard, this will get your dick soft. And that was the only funny non-John Cena actor moment that I enjoyed from that man. So for him to play Shazam, I don't see it. For him to play Peacemaker, I think it's a good start. I think that's a character who gives his acting abilities, some highlights. But other than that, for me to show, John Cena's acting ability, he's just been in commercials for the past few years.
Hey, Ty, to go off of what you were saying, man, I said it and then you said it, that he hasn't been casted properly. Do you think that you started not liking him as much when he was still in wrestling because maybe the writers were writing him out and they gave him, maybe they had a falling out backstage. We'll never really know, right? They had a falling out. Maybe he was saying like, hey, guys, I want to try and do something different. Maybe I want to go into movies. And they're like, well, fuck you, John Cena. We're going to write you some lame stuff. And you have to try and sell this. You have to try and sell this on stage. And good luck with that. And he tried to do the best he could. So no. You don't think that? You don't think that?
Here's I'm gonna give some more. This turned into a wrestling podcast.
Oh no, it's starting to turn wrestling now.
So this is the problem, right? So John Cena always had a problem with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who left wrestling to go do movies, to go do Hollywood.
Is that real? Is that
yes? It is legit. It is a legit feud that John Cena was pissed off because Dwayne was the big star who actually created the bridge between wrestling and Hollywood. And John Cena's big beef was, I come in every day and I work my ass off and I'm the wrestler, I'm the face. I do this day in and day out. I don't take days off. I don't come in via satellite to come do promotions. I'm here in person, entertaining the fans, right? Yeah. But at the same day,
the Rock takes days off, right? Yeah. Because he takes a lot of days off.
Exactly, but exactly, right? So, but that's the thing, John Cena back then didn't have the knowledge that Dwayne had. Who's gonna wrestle? Who's gonna put their body on the line? And, people think it's fake, but you still put your body on the line in all these matches because it's physical. But
It's physical.
but who's going to do that for their entire career? No one. If you can make that bridge to Hollywood and act and go on these, make a shit ton of money to be in films, do that. You can have, stunt doubles, do your stunts, and you can just act and chill and not worry about, harming yourself. So, John Cena back then was very naive. He was all wrestling, and not the let's go forward with, what I'm going to do in my future. But obviously that caught up with him, and now he's the via satellite coming in, randomly to wrestling and say, "Oh, hey guys, let me go do my 2 cents and go back to filming my show."
Certainly, that's interesting, right? That's
Yeah.
super interesting, like how it comes like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and bring this back real quick before we end. Just to Peacemaker again. I think that the line that sold me on him with it, I think it was the second trailer. I don't know if it was the first or the second, but I think it was the second. But they were like, they call you Peacemaker. It says, "I cherish peace with all of my heart. I don't care how many men, women, and children I kill to get it."
Yes. Yes. That was the second.
Okay, just like, all right.
That was trailer number 2, and it was perfect.
I do remember that line. That line was great.
It was perfect. But that's why I think
yeah.
for this film, John Cena was casted perfectly. I think that's why we'll see a great, TV series on HBO Max with him. I think this is where he'll get his stride. I just think, with people from the wrestling world, they play a certain character, and you need to, give that person that certain character. And that's why Dwayne Johnson works so well with the badass ass kickers, especially with Black Adam. Especially within the Fast and Furious franchise. He's a badass figure, kicking ass, taking names, and that's what he did in wrestling, and that's what he's going to do on the TV screen. And with John Cena, that witty, comedic style that Peacemaker has in the James Gunn Suicide Squad is what John Cena was in wrestling. And I think that's what, when you take people from wrestling, you need to take their characters and just push it into a film or a TV series.
Yeah, The Rock is that's some big shoes to fill. So I think Dwayne Johnson has so much charm that everybody loves Dwayne Johnson no matter what. Like, even if like in a movie he's like basically playing himself, people just gravitate towards it. He just has something. He just has something rare that everybody just loves about him.
Yes.
And I think John Cena, unfortunately, is like in a way in his shadow.
Yes.
Whether he did that to himself or not. I feel like majority of people have put him there, and of course with the way Dwayne Johnson is, I feel like everybody looks at John Cena as like he's just trying to catch up to that level,
1,000%.
which is a shame for him because
Yes.
I hope John Cena kind of has his own successful career, and again,
We'll
Peacemaker could be hit. Fuck.
We'll see if he doesn't die, right? If he
Yeah,
doesn't die.
come on, they're throwing a TV series at him. Come on, man.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Should we pull up last thoughts about anything we talked about in this episode?
Yeah, I'll start. So John Cena hopefully does well and doesn't stay in Dwayne Johnson's shadow, which I don't care about because Dwayne's my boy. I've, like I said, been watching him since 1996. Most of my life, Dwayne has been a part of it. He's the man. He wasn't even supposed to be in this podcast, but he is now. I'm excited.
Hashtag restore the Snyderverse.
Hashtag he's going to bring back as the people's champ with his Terramana tequila. Gonna bring back the Snyderverse. But love Suicide Squad trailer. Love Invincible. I can't wait to see what happens with both. I'm excited for the future of superhero animateds and live actions. There's my piece.
We definitely have content for the next year or 2 years, right? And we have some content.
We sure do.
Do you want to take it next?
Sure, dude. Final thoughts. Suicide Squad. I'm hoping for the best. Yes, the trailers did not sell me, unfortunately. But I hope that it's a film that I come back to the podcast talking about it nonstop, how much I loved it. That's what I'm hoping for. Other than that, everybody watch Invincible. If you're not watching Invincible, you're an idiot, so start watching it. Other than that, check out Mud Hen in Wildwood, New Jersey. Their beer is phenomenal. It's making this guy feel really good right now. And that's pretty much it for me. I could still see John Cena as Shazam, but other than that, Zachary Levi, love you. You're killing it. Keep going. Marcus, your turn.
Kev said that comically, by the way. Nobody's an idiot. Everybody, I think everybody figures that out. But, you never know. It's 2021 now, so now you have to preface it with a little disclaimer now.
Oh yeah, did I offend people? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's some people don't know what jokes are anymore.
For all the idiots out there, yeah.
Come on. For all the normal people listening, all right?
Yes.
Jesus.
Shit.
Let me take a swig real quick. Hang on.
Oh, wait, is that therapist? Listen.
So, guys, everybody that didn't see last week's, this is actually last week's Beer of the Week for me. This is therapist.
If you easily get offended, get your local therapist.
If we can get therapists on here.
And drink it, and you'll feel a lot better, and you won't care what people think.
So much better.
There we go. Therapist from Dust Bowl Brewing Co. And, this is an Imperial IPA, 10.4%. So, if you got offended by that, go get a therapist and, drink it, and we'll talk after that.
That's perfect.
Suicide
We should end on that.
I will say, for last thoughts, just I'm really excited to see Polka Dot Man. I don't know a damn thing about Polka Dot Man, but I know that David Dastmalchian, I'm sorry if I butchered it. I don't think I did. He plays a lot of really weird, strange characters. He was in The Dark Knight, but the goon that Harvey Dent was interrogating, and Batman told him, no, don't kill him, don't do it.
He had the Rachel Dawes tag on him, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's a villain on the Flash CW show. He shows up in these roles, right? And I'm just really excited to see him because, I mean, for fuck's sake, right? His superpowers are that he's able to grow polka dots and throw them at people as weapons. So I want to see how that translates into live action and like how cool that could be. I feel like he might be underrated. He's just throwing polka dots at people. So I mean, I just want to see how that plays out.
And Marcus, I agree because the funny thing is when Bloodsport's like I guess we're all gonna die, and he goes, I hope so. Like his take on Polka Dot Man is like dark and gritty, but also like his powers and he lights up in the dark is just so perfect, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they brought that up in the trailer because he always wants to die in the comics. And if anybody wants to go research Polka Dot Man, just go look, and he always wants to die. So it's funny that they brought that up in the trailer. It seems like he's gonna continue that personality over from the comics into the movie. I want to see that definitely. I think he's gonna be underrated. I think people might love him after that, even though he really is just like kind of anti everything. Invincible, I loved it. It was an amazing show that I had no idea was going to be great, and it ended up being great for me, and I can't wait to keep watching it every week. There's at this point we're beating a dead horse because we all love it. We all talked about it, and everybody please go watch Invincible. And final thing is just hashtag restore the Snyderverse.
Yes, hashtag restore the Snyderverse, and do not murder other films.
Please don't do that.
Don't do that. That's bullshit.
Yeah, there's no reason to kill movies because of the movement. Just give positive reviews and put that hashtag in. The hashtag itself puts forth the motivation. You don't need to kill things with the motivation. Kill them with kindness. Positive review their stuff if it's good. If it's not, rightfully so, give your review. But if it's good and you like it, give the good review, but hashtag restore the Snyderverse. We don't want to be toxic. We don't want to fall to, the toxicity that WB has given to the fans.
Don't prove Warner Brothers right.
Yes.
Let's do this the right way. Everybody that's watching, do it the right way. Don't review bomb other movies. Let's just go hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Keep watching Justice League over and over and over and over and over again, and we'll get what we want to get.
And put it on while you're going to bed, so it gets another play while you're going to sleep. And with that being said, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Make
Thank
sure to
you, guys.
like, comment, and subscribe. And we appreciate every single one of you. Marcus, Kev, it's always an honor.
Always a pleasure. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.